So a while ago I made this video you're seeing on screen right now, responding to one of Robothead's videos, and I said that I would be interested in doing more if you wanted it, and well, the video performed quite well, so here we are responding to another one. This time the video is called Stupidest Things Said Defending The Last Jedi. So I'm gonna do the same things I did last time. I'm gonna play a clip of him talking, then I'm gonna respond to what he has said. So I guess let's get started with the first thing I want to respond to.
It's made for children and man babies.
So with his video being titled Stupidest Things Said Defending The Last Jedi, I'm just going to be arguing why these things aren't stupid, like, ways of defending The Last Jedi, but we're starting off with something I can agree on.
Yay!
He says that people saying it's made for kids are wrong, and there's plenty of examples of non-child friendly moments. And yeah, I completely agree. I wouldn't even consider The Last Jedi childish, to be honest, so I don't understand how calling it for kids is a valid defense of the movie. Because whether it's targeted for kids or not, there's plenty of adults that watch Star Wars and they can have an opinion on the movie. But anyway, he then talks about how people involved in the making of the movie have insulted fans on Twitter and stuff like that. Which, yeah, it's bad, but this doesn't mean that The Last Jedi is bad or anything, so it doesn't really relate to the video at all, so I don't really know why it was included. But yeah, that's the first thing covered.
You just don't like change.
What did Last Jedi bring that was new?
Everything.
Well, if The Last Jedi is so similar to the rest of Star Wars, then why is it so hated? Luke is so hated in The Last Jedi because of how different he is to the original trilogy. And you have to understand, it's probably quite hard to do something within the same fictional universe after 7 other movies in that universe have already been released that's not even slightly similar. But yeah, I'm still going to name some. For starters, it showed the Resistance, or just the good guys in general, at the lowest point we've ever seen them. They were on the verge of being wiped out. We've never even seen the Rebellion be at that lowest point. We also, love it or hate it, got the Holdo maneuver and Canto Bight, a casino place in Star Wars, which is very new, and something a lot of people skip over is the Sith Rule of 2 in action properly. Probably the only time in Star Wars since Revenge of the Sith, when Palpatine got Anakin to kill Dooku and then tried to make him Darth Vader and obviously succeeded. Kylo killed Snoke and immediately tried to recruit Rey. I'd also say we got the strongest character arc in all of Star Wars, other than Vader in Return of the Jedi, going from Vader to Anakin. Being Luke in this movie, he goes from saying, "Oh, what am I going to do, face down the First Order with my laser sword," and then literally does it. I mean, that's a criticism of the movie for a lot of people, but that is his character arc. He then makes a montage of all of Ryan's contributions to Star Wars, so here it is. How exactly are they illogical? Yeah, I get that they are absolutely terrible, but that is meant to showcase how down the Resistance are, how much of a struggle that they are in. Well, the ship burnt inside out, not outside in, meaning that the material of Snoke's throne room is what was flammable, not the metal of the spaceship. And you know what, I'm glad you pointed this out, because I actually quite like it even more now, because it shows the arrogance of the Sith again, as he doesn't think that an impractical throne room that is flammable would be a problem, because he is arrogant. He doesn't think that he should prioritize the safety and practicality of it over the aesthetic, because he is arrogant and doesn't think any bad will happen. Oh yeah, I forgot, Luke's not allowed to eat or drink. That's terrible. It's literally a force pull. I don't understand what the issue is. People are confused because the ship didn't come to her when she pulled. Well, think of it like this. Think of it in real life. If there was a rope with Leia to the ship, and if she pulled on the rope, the ship would not come to her when she's floating in space. She would go to the ship if she pulled on the rope. It is the same thing, it's just the force instead of a rope. And do not tell me that it's not the same because the force isn't a rope. No, it's the exact same thing, a force pull, she goes towards the ship. A Again, I don't see the problem here. We've got a cute little species or bird thingy for comic relief like we always do, and then a species that looks after Ahch-To and the temple, which makes complete sense. Otherwise it would be quite weird that there's perfectly intact buildings when Luke arrives. Unless you wanted Luke to turn into a builder and a cleaner and everything else that they do, maybe? So we'll do a 3-in-1 here. Fuel problems, I don't see the issue. It again shows how low the resistance are, and we've seen it before in Star Wars. Then a fun scene where they're riding some creatures to escape, don't see the problem. And then Kylo being shirtless, is that really an issue with the movie? Okay, here is a big one. We see 3 realities of Luke confronting Kylo. One that is real, which isn't that one from Luke's perspective, and one from Kylo's. What actually happened is Luke ignited his saber but didn't go to kill him, and it was because he didn't see any light in Kylo, despite seeing light in the most evil man in the galaxy, Vader, that he had the reaction that he regretted of switching on his saber. He still didn't swing for him, he didn't try to kill him, but Kylo woke up and then collapsed the hut that they were in, but Luke hadn't tried to kill him yet. Yep, weird force scene that I don't really understand too much, but we've had plenty of them in Star Wars. I'm not the biggest fan of that scene, to be honest, but then the one with Rey and Kylo I quite like, because it's just them trying to figure out how their diet actually works pretty much, as obviously it was new to them. Or not new to them, they always had it, but it's new that they know about it. The Holdo maneuver ruins nothing because, as we know and I've said many times, she was just before reaching hyperspace when she collided with the ships, hence how she could collide with the ships. And Force Ghosts being able to physically interact with the real world isn't an issue because we hardly knew anything about Force Ghosts anyway. We don't even know if they get to pick and choose when they appear, so the idea of all the ghosts going to kill Palpatine themselves is pretty irrelevant. Oh, not Salt, they've ruined Star Wars. Well, I guess you have a lot of experience with Salt because you've made about 20 videos hating on the sequel trilogy. Seriously, stop making videos about them if you hate them so much.
Don't forget, the 2 biggest changes. Jedi training means nothing now.
Well, it hasn't meant anything since it first existed. Luke in The Empire Strikes Back, when he fought Darth Vader, the second most powerful man in the galaxy ever in canon, had the same amount of training as Rey when she got tossed around the room by some random clone and got beat every time by a Vader wannabe, being Kylo.
And the Empire/First Order aren't scary.
If you don't...
Well, that's your opinion, and to be honest, I was never scared of the Empire, and I think it makes more sense that the First Order, if they are less scary, to be less scary, because they're trying to be like the Empire. Like Kylo, one of the leaders of the First Order, is supposed to be like someone trying to be like Vader, who is one of the leaders of the Empire, so this makes sense.
If you don't like it, just stop watching. Just leave.
No. Just because Disney have a large checkbook doesn't mean they should automatically be given a tick of approval.
Yeah, just don't watch it if you don't like it. It's not an objective thing to say that the movie is bad, so just because it's Disney doesn't mean they get a free pass. That's not how it works. You should not watch what you don't like and stop being toxic about it, because there are people that like this movie. Disney haven't made a factually terrible movie. I personally enjoy it, so they're not being held accountable because they're Disney and they have lots of money. Not everyone is hating on The Last Jedi because some people enjoy the movie.
Try this as an example. Let's say I don't follow football, but I decide that Manchester United look exciting. I go to my first match and I sit next to these lifelong 3-generation supporters. They aren't happy with the team's performance and think the new management are idiots. I proceed to tell them, as a new supporter, that they should just stop watching football, or find another team, or just generally go away because you're not wanted anymore.
Please. That is a terrible example for your argument, using football as it can be factual if a team is doing good or bad based on their results in comparison to their prior results. But if you want to look at statistics, for The Last Jedi, then sadly for you, it's ranked above the prequel trilogy on Rotten Tomatoes. or tomatoes, whatever you want to say, and if you don't believe me, just look.
People didn't like Empire.
I agree that this is a very stupid thing to say defending The Last Jedi, so I'm not going to comment on it.
Films have problems and no films are perfect.
I see people use this.
Well, yes, all films do have problems, but that's no defense of a film, because as fans we want our films to have no problems. So yes, I agree, but I also think that The Last Jedi does not have anywhere near as many problems and plot holes as anyone thinks, especially when you compare it to our own other Star Wars movies. Like, why didn't Obi-Wan use force speed right here, for example?
Where the whole film rests on a chase that doesn't make sense in the Star Wars universe.
Or do you care how to explain how the chase doesn't make sense? Of course not. You state opinions, like facts, and then move on as quickly as possible. No wonder I used to believe this guy. He says stuff and then doesn't give you any time to think about whether you agree with it or not before he just moves on to the next thing that is another opinion stated as a fact.
You just don't understand it.
Yes, we do. It's no primer. If someone...
No, you don't, because one of the biggest criticisms is that Luke goes from saying, facing down the First Order with my laser sword sarcastically, to then actually doing it, but what you don't understand is that is his character arc, so you clearly don't understand a lot of The Last Jedi, let alone the plot holes that aren't even plot holes that you don't seem to understand either.
Novel. Rey downloads Kylo's training. What? Hyperspace would be too expensive as a weapon. Again, what? I've never seen a film that needs so much external help. Why can't we talk about the plot holes?
Because there is none. The Holdo maneuver is a 1 in a million shot, just like Poe Dameron says. I've also explained Leia. I've also explained how the Holdo maneuver actually worked, and downloading the information is just a way of putting the dyad for idiots to make it seem like it's a plot hole when it's not. Snoke said it himself, that their minds are forged together, so it's not that difficult to think that Rey would have learnt some stuff from looking in Kylo's mind.
Diversity and women scare you.
Yep, I agree, it's very harsh to assume someone is misogynistic just because they don't like the movie.
Star Wars has the most toxic fan base.
No, the world has some toxic people, and they can be...
Out of the major fictional universes, Star Wars definitely has the most toxic fanbase in my opinion, and people like Robot Head heavily contribute towards it, and if you don't believe me, then literally I am living proof of it. I used to watch all of his videos, and I believed them, and I myself was a toxic fan. I said that plot holes that weren't plot holes, that he said were plot holes, were plot holes. That was too many plot holes in one sentence. And just stuff like that prove that it is a toxic fan base. And another example would be Rey Skywalker. People still call her Rey Palpatine years after the fact. The literal canon fact that she is a Skywalker was released.
Look at how much money it made.
I don't think you can really judge quality by profit.
Yeah, to be honest, I agree. Profit does not equal quality of a movie, so yeah, I never said it did, so I'll move on.
Star Wars film. Mark Hamill himself has tried to warn us. He knew what was going on.
Wrong. Mark Hamill likes The Last Jedi. Get it in your heads, people. He initially slandered the movie before it was released and has said countless times since that it is the best since Empire Strikes Back, and he regrets saying that it was bad before it was released. Search it up, please.
Sorry you didn't get the story you wanted.
Ah, I remember it well. Going to see Empire Strikes Back with my little checklist of things I had to see to be satisfied. Huge...
Again, a terrible argument. That is not what people are saying. The point is that you wanted Luke to come back and be a boss. Not necessarily you, but the fans that don't like The Last Jedi, a lot of them. And it didn't happen. Apart from it did at the end anyway. Anyway, most fans, including myself, went into The Last Jedi with unspecific things that we wanted to see, like some more of Snoke following The Force Awakens, a showing of Luke's power at this time now that he's back, that we got to see at the end of The Force Awakens, R2 and Luke reunite as R2 was in lower power mode in The Force Awakens, and a lot of that actually happened, so I was relatively satisfied with The Last Jedi. But the people that wanted to see Luke return from Arc 2 and go off on the First Order were unsatisfied with The Last Jedi because that's what they wanted to see, that's what they expected to see, and they didn't get it. Anyway, he then goes on to talk about Solo for some reason, so obviously I'm not going to talk about that, but yeah, that's all I have to say in response to this robot head video. If you disagree, please, like last time, instead of just leaving a dislike on the video and then just going, have a debate with me in the comments. I'll pin one of my comments, like asking what you disagree with, and we can have a nice discussion about it. But yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you so much for 5,900 subscribers. Let's get to 6k, please. And yeah, thank you for watching. In a bit.